Hello, viewers. Welcome to another wonderful episode on your favorite talk show. It's your girl Gloria, and today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic. Today with me in the studio are
Maya Faustina.
Ike Obunia Gospel.
you all are welcome. So today we are discussing a topic that touches us generally: teenagers, adults, young youths, and all. Skirts and trousers. What does decency mean in Nigeria today? That is the general topic. So first of all, let's define the foundation of the word decency. What does the word decency mean to you as a person?
Yeah, I for one, I think decency, like people would say, is a way of being modest.
Okay.
How you present yourself to society, how you present yourself to people as being modest, or as your way of living. This is who I am, and this is how I come out to be. This is how I want to be represented. This is how I want to be seen. So for me, that's how I define decency.
Well, we're talking about this decency is not far away from morality. So when you're talking about decency, it talks more about moral. It talks about culture, how good looking the society accept this. So that is not far away from moral. So that is what I mean by decency.
All right. So when we are talking about the word decency, and we're trying to explain what decency means in the Nigerian today. So we should actually talk about it in a diverse way. You know, when it comes to decency, there's the culture, the social norms, the tradition. In every aspect of these things, there is the word decency. Some cultures have their way of dressing, and what they term decent might not be what you term decent. Even in our Christianity, in our religious world, the Islam, you have the Islam and we have the Christians.
Sure.
So the Islam, they are with all this hijab and this abba and what they call it. So that is their own term of decency. And in Christian term, how do we as Christians, let's come to the Christendom. How do we as Christians, what do we define as decency in the Christendom?
Well, I'm so much glad when I when I realized that this topic we discussed today is a very interesting one. I'm glad to be here today and talking about decency and the topic in quotes, talking about skirts and trouser and thereabouts and our let's say Nigeria today. Now, in Christendom, a lot of people, in fact, there is confusion here in Christendom, and when it comes in terms of skirts and trouser as a decency in Nigeria, because there are some denomination in Christendom that don't want trouser, while there are some that accept trouser. So here we can say that this is the decent way to go to church. I don't know if you
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Right.
So we're talking about decency. Some church, I may not really mention some the names, but some church don't accept trousers. Why some accept trousers? So those of them that don't even want trouser in their church, but there are some of the members that put on something that is more worse than trousers.
So in that context now, the fact that some denominations don't accept trouser, that is their own term of the word indecency.
Yeah.
When you put on trouser to church, the term is as indecency. But when you put miniskirt to church, is that not indecency?
Well, for me, I feel that these things have a cultural background, like you said earlier. So what when I see people perceive wearing skirts, wearing trousers as being indecent or being decent, sometimes I wonder. And some go as far as quoting Deuteronomy 22 verse 5 in the Bible, where it says a woman shouldn't wear a man's wear, and a
Yeah.
man shouldn't wear a woman's wear.
Something, yeah.
So sometimes I'm confused because if we should go back to pre-colonial era, where we used to have our forefathers who would wear I think these leaves on their body,
Yes.
exposed, even their women, they weren't covering up very well. Why don't we perceive that then as indecent? But now when you hear such things now, they perceive you as indecent, you are not decent, you are not modest. So I just feel there's a cultural revolution going on. Even in Christianity. The way they used to see God then is no longer the way they see God. What they used to call sin then is no longer what they call sin now. So that's how I feel about this thing.
Well, like to add more to that, when you're talking about decency, to me, I see indecent dressing more especially in quotes, indecent dressing that something that don't have a definite definition.
Yeah.
So it depends the environment, the culture, the their lifestyle, how what they accept as decency. Like I said earlier on, it is not far away from morality. So something you could accept as this thing is moral, this is way of life, this is how you should. Some people may not accept it that way. That is what is happening in Christendom. Generally in Nigeria today, you see um our youth, the so-called Gen Z generation, they are copying the lifestyle of whites
The Western world.
with the Western world. Here in Nigeria, you know that Africa have their own culture, and I think with time, some of their culture is are phasing off because they want to behave like whites, where people can put on even tights. There's something tights they wear like how do I put it? There's a one black
Yeah, short.
tights. Now, previously, people you can't wear it outside, but now people can wear it openly and walk, go anywhere, and go to even to church. We call it leggings that shows pants to church. Do you understand? So now talking about that kind of thing now is not our culture in Africa. It's not our culture. Me myself, I don't accept that. So some people accept it. So it's a kind of two-way, two-coin way or thereabout. How do I put it? So some people accept it, some people don't accept it. Same thing goes in the church too.
Okay. Now your when we come to the Christendom, I will just say that there is no specific way of dressing that is called indecent. I believe it's just the way we perceive it. How you perceive someone dressing, that is what is called indecent. Now in Nigeria today, is decency about covering the body, or is it about the intention behind how we present ourselves?
Like I always tell people, there's always a why for everything people do, and we are always aware of whatever we do. So now, I was speaking with someone this morning. I was telling him about this particular topic we are discussing. So I was like, okay, share me your insight. What do you think about it? And there was something he said that caught my attention. That the way the world is going now, we are going back to how we used to live in the past, how our forefathers used to live. Like there's a like an evolution going on. The things that we do now, like I see people now going back to wearing those baggy trousers. And there was a point in time where if someone will wear it and they will say, ah, this person is out, is old fashioned, is outdated. But now we're beginning to wear those things. People say wear them to church. So sometimes what people call indecency, sometimes it's just based on, should I say, their belief. Like you said earlier on, that when it comes to Protestants, Protestants will always tell you that, oh, putting on trousers is a sin, opening your chest and the rest of them is a sin. But let me use the Catholics as an example. In Lagos and Abuja, where I live, we hear it to church. It's not a sin. Like, as so long as it's decent, like you're not exposing anywhere in your body, nowhere is being exposed. Put on your trousers. You don't even tie scarf. But when I came down to Imo State here to school, I noticed that sometimes if I even forget to wear my scarf, they will call me to order and be like, you're going inside the church, you have to tie a scarf. But in my mind, I'm like, is it a sin? Then I had to understand that this is just their culture. This is how they do here. And this is how they perceive indecency. That if you're not tying a scarf, you are indecent. So you have to tie a scarf to look decent. So over time, I've tried to, adapt and adopt their culture. So like, let me just put it as a cultural shift. That what I used to do, that I used to perceive as being decent, now I've entered a new environment. Now they said it's indecent. I have to shift. I have to adapt.
Well, like you said, Nigerians are really getting it wrong, definitely, because all they like our uncle just said, talking about depends on how they perceived it. So they are seeing it this other way. Now, me as an African man, I so much cherish our tradition, our culture, because our culture doesn't require any lady or any man to be naked walking on the road. But currently, that is what is happening because everybody wants to belong, even if they don't even mind if they are looking good or not. They just want to belong. Imagine, like I said earlier, the illustration I gave, someone putting on tights, walking on the road with there's one top they call cross. And you see, crop up and what is it?
Crop top.
Crop top.
Yeah.
You know, showing the side of the tummy
Their
or
belly, yeah.
yeah. You know, that kind of lifestyle. This is not, we are not known with that. But because of they want to trend, they want to follow the trend. That is why they are doing all those things. But it's not our culture. Now, we Africans see those things as indecent dressing. These are not decent. Now, okay, imagine you going maybe you are looking for a job. Can you dress that way? No, because you want to get the job. You see where the
Yeah.
decency come to that morality we are talking about. So
Okay, now let me see. Let me take you guys back to those days.
Okay.
Those days whereby the Christians, like the Yorubas, the Hausas, if we look at their code of dressing then back in the days, their bodies are exposed.
Exactly.
Let's be frank, their bodies are exposed.
Exactly.
The Igbos, we have this culture where you tie something on your chest, your bellies are exposed, your laps are exposed. It is not tagged indecency at that time. The Hausas, the same thing. The Yorubas, they go with their buba and their short wrapper. It is not tagged indecency. So let me ask, where does this roots of decency and indecency come in?
wait, okay, I'll answer that definitely. You know, as the day unfolds, culture and values are reformed. Because I could remember one of the movie we watched those days in NTA, like the girls must be crazy. You know, they don't even have clothes.
Yeah.
I know that the people of 2000 and they might not really experience that kind of thing. We watch it with black and white television, NTA, then with hotback television. So now those people are naked. They don't even know what is called indecent dressing. So the only way, even when they saw a bottle coming from a helicopter past, they were like, "This is God sent." They don't even know what is God. Now, where I'm going and driving to is that talking about those days where Yorubas or Hausa or Igbo they wear half coats and thereabout and other places. Now, Igbos, the culture, the African culture, have not been reformed in a way that this is what we want, because that was the available clothes at that moment.
I won't say it as a available clothes at that moment. I think the whole root of this is when colonization came into Nigeria. They
Exactly.
brought in their Western dressing down to the country, trying to impact their own culture. Because everything we are seeing today is as a result of what the Western has brought into our country.
Okay.
Because if we are looking, I would say that back then, when we were still dressing in our African way, things were there was nothing like rape and all these things going on. The community, everything was moving fine. But then came colonization. The British brought in their own dressing pattern, how you dress to church. They brought in the Christianity. Because then everyone was living on traditional stuff, based on tradition, based on what they believe and the God they believe. But now they brought in their own Christianity and brought in their dress code, how we are supposed to dress. Then the culture started shifting. And that is when the word indecency started coming in. You must dress this way, you have to dress this way, you don't have to dress this way. Now, that brings me to the question, indecency. This word, indecency, is it just particular to females alone, or is it both gender?
Well, it's for both gender, because there are some guys. I could remember there was a time. This is just running that when you are putting on a shirt, you just open the button to an extent that you'll be showing your chest. Just the center of attraction is the hairs at the chest. So it's part of the like I said, the people. Some people may not really see it as about the dress mode, while some people are seeing it as they are. Now, guys sag. They when they put on their dress, they sag, and you'll be seeing their buttocks.
And
This
that
is
is not perceived as indecent.
no. I'm just giving you the side of guys. Now, going to church or walking on the way, putting on shorts. Some people see it as indecent. Putting on shorts while your legs are showing. I don't know.
When
If it's indecent,
Yeah.
if we're talking about that as indecent now, you should go to churches. Like I might still use the Catholic, the Pentecostals, and the Anglican. as an example. If you go to church, you see guys on dreadlocks. If you're tagging the word indecency, you should tag it overall. We see guys on dreadlocks. They sag to church, and it is not perceived.
Is there anything wrong with dreadlock?
Oh, and we are
Is it
talking
part of the indecent dressing?
Yes,
We are in
yes.
a man's world. That's what
That's
we
what
tell
I'm
people.
saying.
We are not,
Do you understand? If a man is supposed to have a low cut,
Where is it
Wait
written?
now.
Even in the constitution,
no, wait
it's not.
now, wait now. We are talking about indecency. When you talk about dressing, like let me say now, let me take for instance now, you bring a man to your father and he wants to get married to you. As an African man, a typical African man, and your guy is on dreadlocks. What will the first thing your father say? You're bringing a madman to introduce to me as a husband. Because he perceived that as an indecent dressing.
That is
Do you
where
understand?
I said morality. Because a well African man can never see something like that and accept it. Just for instance now, like what you said, bringing a man that wants to marry to your father and with a dreadlock and
Saggy
sagging,
trousers.
your father will see the guy as someone who is not responsible,
Exactly.
someone who will not be able to take care of you, someone who will betray you maybe along the way. You understand? So that is where the morality comes in now. So talking about guys and both have the same thing. When you're talking about indecency, now okay, we are talking about outward appearance, not about
Yes.
inward.
No, we're not talking about inward
Okay.
appearance. We're talking about outward appearance now. Now, if the word dressing, skirts and trouser in a lady, because this particular topic, skirt and trouser, is tagged to ladies, whether skirt or trouser is perceived as decency. Now, modesty is not just about the length of your skirts.
Yeah.
It is about the posture of your
The
hands.
person.
Do you understand what you feel? Because now, let me take for instance now. I personally, I might see someone with mini skirts on, but looking at the person from head to toe, you don't perceive any word indecency for what she or she is wearing.
Even some people putting on the long trouser.
Then you see them, you look them and you see them as indecent.
Not even in the sense. You see them like Mary and Maka. But looking at the shape of their body, man, you be carried away.
Wait, can I tell you something?
Okay.
So I beg to differ what you said earlier when you were talking about the men and both the women. I always say we're in a man's world.
Exactly.
Like I read something today on the internet where I saw a Scottish man putting on skirts. And when I went on to read about their culture,
That's their
I
culture.
realized that that's their culture.
That's their culture.
Nobody talks about it. But when it's a woman now in an African setting, they see you as being indecent because you are putting on trousers. Like you said, some denominations we target sin. So for me, I feel that this whole problem started with the men. Because when you people started thinking that, oh, when I see a woman who is putting on miniskirt, she pushes me to sin,
The word loss comes to their head.
comes to their head, and now we say it is indecent because it pushes men to
Yeah,
sin.
because she's showing
So-
parts of her laps and all that.
Exactly. But when men are saying sagging, they say it's guy, it's just
No,
guy.
it's guy,
He's
it's
just
men's
working,
word,
it's a guy.
it's
But
trend.
once it's a woman, she's pushing you to sin, and now you're having the thought of rape. You want to get her by all means.
Well, you don't even understand the point. See, when women push, if you know that women they are the center attraction of men. So, however, they might even, it's not about the short skirts or the long skirts.
Yeah.
It's about the transparency. You might be putting on the long skirt, even trousers itself that covers the distance, but the transparency, you now see the sign of what you want. Be from far, man. In fact, that is where when you are talking about rape, all this rape, you must have put on something that will attract someone to push you.
No,
No,
why
that is not it.
Why?
That is not
I don't get it.
I believe when we are dressing as humans, you dress in what makes you feel comfortable. You're not dressing to impress anyone out there. So when you dress now, if this word rapes, I just feel sometimes it has to do with psychological aspect of that particular man that committed that act. Because if you see a woman and the only thing that comes to your head is lust,
Because
then you have a problem.
because the man have already seen,
What are you looking for?
and
that you saw that?
imagine it.
Why would you imagine so? Just seeing a woman dressed up and you imagine so.
Okay.
What exactly is going to
Okay, have you ever seen a Deeper Life or Watchman or those people that dress this in kechi? Have you ever seen anybody say, okay, that such a person was raped?
Now let me shock you. When you come to that aspect now, you hear the stories of a 10-year-old teenager being raped. Why?
One,
This girl now doesn't have anything. There's no breast there. There's no. She's dressed normally as a child.
let me
Then what prompted that action?
let me tell you something. Do you know that some ladies now currently, when you are talking about this decency now, we are talking about some ladies, they put on polo with no bra, and you see their showing up. No, sorry to use this kind of word, but do you know that a man might stay and be looking at that, start imagining, in fact, they've already naked that lady and done everything. So what if you think of it now, having an opportunity with only him and the lady, what will happen?
So, okay, are you trying to tell me that our forefathers were like this too?
No.
Okay, back then, where women used to wear tie those short wrappers.
Why don't they perceive them in that manner?
Can you tell me why?
Now look at those days. If I can remember vividly, those days there are what we call, like I said, there are rules and regulation like culture. Now, tradition. These are the things. Whoever that happens to participate in this kind of lifestyle or situation, look at what we do to that person. One, most times they ban them from the village. Now those things are no longer happening here. Some people will even stay out from their village for 10 years without even coming back to the village. They don't even care. Now those days, you everybody, if you are going to another man's village, that village will recognize you that this person coming from this area. If you are not from that place, they mostly they call it they tag it as Osu outcast. You understand? That is where you can see people like Arochukwu, Arondi Zog, Aro. Those people are people that are pushed from their village. So probably they must have committed something that make the community to say, no, this is not our way of life. Leave our community. Now, that is why people are scared of doing those things. But currently now, you see some ladies now, they don't even mind. Even in the village, imagine in the market some time ago, that should be about 3 years ago, someone was putting on something very, and it's not even something like skirt, it's a flay, and breeze just imagine that breeze came and everything just as in went up. The women selling ose and all those pepper and thereabout, they started shouting. The girl became so embarrassed and she entered bus immediately. Chatter. So she felt comfortable when leaving her house, but on the process, people don't like it. The society don't even accept it. Okay, talk more of this thing now. This one. If you're a married woman and you're going to your village meeting, are you supposed to put on trousers? Now,
That is
Come
the
on,
cultural
come on, you're
aspect.
going yes, now.
no.
Why the
It's not about
country?
cultural aspects. I'm talking to you. No, this is women matter now.
No,
August meeting.
let me come in that place now. We have when I started this, I said that this decency is subjective to cultures, religions, and societal and all that. Now, in the cultural aspects, we all came from a particular state or place, and we have a culture guiding that place we came from. Do you understand? As a married woman, you might wear trousers to any setting. It has been there. And that is one culture I know that a lot of things cannot erode that easily. It has been there. If you're a married woman, you might wear trousers, but once you are having a village meeting, you dressed as the culture demands you to dress. You dress with your wrapper and your blouse.
Now, you know that in our culture, African culture, you know that our culture is that any woman that is married must tie wrapper.
That was there.
Okay, you are putting that was then.
No, that was there because you, like she said, now you men now are the reason. Okay, you can imagine that a man actually divorcing his wife because she ties wrapper. You can imagine
that man
now.
mustn't be must not
You
come
can
from
imagine
Africa.
a man divorcing his wife because why would you be tying wrapper when you're not a grandma? Now, when we are saying this word indecency, you men have a lot of role to play in it. Because if a woman dressed decently, because I don't even know what we tag as the word indecency in the first place, if I'm to say. You're putting on mini skirts, you're putting on trousers, you're putting on mini skirt and your lap shows the tag it indecency. Like I said, it is personal, it's where people view it personally.
Sure, like I said, the word today, Nigerian today, doesn't discriminate, but you are putting on trousers or skirts. I guess where the problem is coming from is in our Christendom,
It still
religious
does,
services.
though. It still does.
No.
If you go to some rural areas,
Yeah.
you don't dare wear mini skirts and cross that place.
Okay, That's why you are calling you are not bringing a culture, because that is what they believe. This is, you are talking about urban area now, where we are now. Township, we call it township, where anybody can, where, and even if you greet or you don't greet, nobody cares. That is, now this is a Western lifestyle. We are bringing it here in our country. So putting on trousers or mini skirt, it doesn't really mean here in town. But when you go to some village, everybody, you see that some women will say, "Ashibakwa, God forbid, look at what this girl is. Only azokwara ya azo. Is it coming from a home?" Do you understand? So now this is where I said I made mention of morality. Now, when somebody is putting on something like that, you know that definitely, going to look for a job, you cannot put on something like that. But when you are working on your own, you put that means your mind, your conscience is telling you that this is not really good. Going
But
to look for a job.
yeah, yeah. But I just feel that this word decency, it just matters what you wear, when and how. Because when you see someone who is going to club, who is going for club, putting on short skirt, braless top, you don't perceive her as being indecent. Because you know where
Because she
she's
knows where
going
she's
to.
going to.
Yeah,
That's how they dress
yes,
there.
that's how they dress there. You wouldn't call her an indecent girl at that moment.
But when she's
You
wearing
know,
it and
right?
crossing the road, you call her
You call her
indecent.
indecent.
No, like you just, the example, the illustration you just gave now is just more of I see, okay, just like a guy going to play ball. You know that you are putting on tog and the JC. Even if you are walking from a distance of 200 kilometers, it doesn't mean, because you know that everybody, when this person see you, say this person is going to play ball, because you
Yeah.
see him. Now, going for club, nobody knows the pattern of dress. You don't know if you are going for a club or lounge. You don't even know.
No, when you see the person entering straight to the clubhouse.
Now, when in our culture now, when you
Yeah.
see somebody dressed that way, you see that, oh, this person is a shawo, a prostitute, a hookup. That is what you just imagine during when putting on chain on the leg. When it start coming up, we tag it as "I am ready."
That is our judgmental
I
aspect.
am ready. So catch me, catch me. I'm ready. Do you understand? But now is nothing. Everybody, even the married women, everybody in fact do it. Even some guys now do it. And when you see some guys now do it, you see that this person is a homosexual.
Yeah, and see what I said earlier on, that what we used to see as sin, now we have come to a stage of normalizing everything.
No, everything,
Everything has
everything
been
has a tag.
just.
Everything has a
I'm
name.
telling you.
It has a name for it. If you are doing this certain things that normally when you do, then people will say this is not good. They'll tag it as fashion.
Fashion.
So
Tag it as trending. It is trending.
It
I
is
could remember
trending.
sometime a friend of mine told me she got married, so she went to her in-laws place for the first time. So she was wearing skirts. This skirt, this knee-length skirt, but it
Yeah.
has this tear at the back.
Yeah.
So she wore it in the morning. She came out to sweep, and the first thing that they did, a woman in that around everything came and took her up and covered her immediately. That why would you be wearing something and it's showing the? And she was like, she was shocked because she knows that what she was wearing was not short. Do you understand? But that is how they perceived that another one is not supposed to see the side of her laps. That was exactly how they perceived. So to them, that if she wear that thing on the way now, it is not indecent. But to them over there, it is called indecency. The fact that you have a tear at the back of the skirt is indecent. So that is where it brings us to cultural belief on the word indecency. Do you understand? So let's quickly move on. I've asked the one if this decency is gender based, if it's just female or if it's both male and female.
it's from the
And
boats.
it's from the both sides. Now, trousers on women, is it truly indecent? Trousers on women, is it truly indecent? Because you will see a woman putting on trousers and she looks respectable and responsible. And you see a woman putting on even this skirt that people tag as that is what normal women are supposed to wear. And you look at that, you say, what is she even wearing? So
Oh,
is trouser on women truly indecent or just traditionally not accepted?
okay. Like I said, I can't even deviate from the word uh, morality, because it's still part of it. Because I could remember in secondary school those days when school is giving you skirts, they always tell you that your skirt should not go below your knee. It should be your knee and thereabout. So that is to say that they recognize morality. They want they want that moral life to be there. So putting on skates or putting on trouser doesn't make any change. When you're talking about decency, is more like for instance now, women are known to put on trouser that is tight, not bogus. Some are putting on bogus, but they are meant to just to maintain their shape. So anybody that is not putting, say, this girl is just shapeless. Look at her trouser; she couldn't even manage it well. But when the guy is putting on something so tight, and imagine the man, that thing is so strong, like look like homosexual, you know, understand? So it doesn't make any sense. To men is an indecent dressing, making your trouser so tight from up to the down. It makes you look like a woman. But women can put it comfortably and we appreciate it. So trouser or skirts doesn't make any but for men, they have their own way of trouser. So you mustn't make it so tight. So you can make it normal free. You can make it bogus. You can make it Fela Kuti. Does nobody cares? But don't make it look as if so that you won't look like a woman. And for ladies, putting on trouser is not a decent. But don't give us the one that will
All
confuse men.
right, all right.
I know personally. Okay, let me use this illustration. Sometime around 2012, 2013, there was this news that went viral about a girl who went for NYSC camp, and she went and requested for skirt instead of trousers because her denomination
No,
perceived that as a sin.
do not accept.
Yes. So I went to the comment section of that post and people were like, so she would do all this training
On skirts,
of
jumping,
climbing
climbing, and
with
all that.
skirts.
The obstacles there.
So when I said earlier that some things happen for reasons, and people do what they do for reasons. There's always a why. There's always a because. So you don't expect to go for such training, paramilitary training, and you're expecting to put on a skirt. That is even more exposing. Yes, because now you're even pushing people, like I said, we're in a man's world. Now you are pushing men to sin. You will ask, oh, this girl is seducing us. Let us go for and make people sin. Like I said earlier. So these things, putting on trousers, wearing skirts, I don't think they even define that word decency. Because this same girl now will go abroad and start putting on trousers. Why? She'll tell you because of the weather. Like I said, it's always a because.
Yeah.
Now you're going outside now to put on trousers because of the weather. Now it nullifies the word sin. It's no longer sin. But when you come back to Nigeria,
The
where you are
denomination does
supposed
not accept
yeah,
it.
yeah, it does not accept it because it is a sin. Sometimes I'm lost. Because sometimes what we tag as sin, they don't just matter.
All
They're
right.
not even necessary.
All right, all right. Let's go on a short break. I will be back shortly. Thank you. Welcome back, viewers. It has been a very, very interesting and argumentative topic in the studio here. So, moving on. How are young people? How are they redefining the word decency? Because in our own perspective, in our own aspects, we have our own definition of the word decency. And the young ones are there. What you call a young child now, ask he or she, what does the word decency? They have their own term to tell you. This how are young people redefine? Because decency, like we all know, is not what it used to be anymore. There's a term to it. So how are they redefining it? The word decency.
Like a young person will tell you that decency is wearing what you have and knowing where to wear what you have. So yeah, now when I'm going for an interview, of course I have mini skirts, of course I have those kind of tops. But now I'm going for an interview. I should know what to wear. I'm going for an interview. I wear something like a very corporate dress, well covered, well dressed.
So what made you wear that?
Because I know I'm going for an interview.
So because there is a culture.
Not
It's not about culture. She has to present herself exactly the way she wants to present.
Yes, exactly. And now when I'm going for a party, I know what to wear. And for me, going for that party like that, I'm decent that way.
Because that
it
is the
suits,
norm.
yeah, it suits the location I'm going for.
Okay.
So now, people are trying to redefine decency. We're now pushing it from the part of dressing well to dressing by what you have, going by what you have, and knowing when to wear it. So that's how I see people redefine decency. And it's a pity when people will still come out and tell you that you should do this, and it is dehumanizing. Chimamanda will tell you that it is dehumanizing to tell people to do things that pleases you or you think that fits your own belief, now thereby making them now feel less of themselves. You've told them to wear what you have, now you have to decide for them when to wear what they have.
Well, I think when you are talking about all this decency, in fact, African has
Yeah.
the one of the best culture. In fact, has the best culture because one, we are still emphasize on the morality because one is it. Some of these things we are defining decency, where, like I said earlier, that it depends and it determines the environment, the culture, the society. Now, putting on trouser or skirts now in abroad, some European continent countries, sorry, rather, some countries they always wear trouser with their suits
Yeah.
and glove and cover everywhere because of cold.
Yeah.
Okay, someone said cigarette is not good, hot alcohol is not good, but some countries they take those things just to keep their body warm. Sure, they don't see it as a sin, they don't see it as a bad thing, but here in some, because of our culture, African culture, maybe
And
you are,
religion.
and religion. Okay, for instance,
We
okay,
should
let
even
me,
take more of the
not
religion,
sorry,
something the
not the
culture.
culture. Sorry,
Yeah.
not the culture. The religion forbids such things, and they don't like it. They don't want it. That is their own way of life. But out there is not like that. Now, talking about redefining
The word
the word
decency.
decency. You know, like I told you, that the world is reforming as the day unfolds. So everybody is trying to, how do I put it? They are kind of they want to behave the way they want,
Sense of belonging.
sense of belonging. But I believe that African culture forbids those things because I still maintain, because I'm a traditionalist. I love African culture and I love it so much that the way, why you feel that going for an interview, like you said, you put on this thing because you know that the world generally, the society may not like the way you would want to dress, so that you dress the way you suit and get what you want.
But don't forget that we're in a Western world already.
We are not.
We
But
are.
No,
pardon me,
no,
why can't you wear your cultural wear to go and look for a
no,
job?
definitely that
Or
is,
for go or to go for an interview?
Like I say, ever since the Western world brought in
Yeah.
colonization and everything, the our culture is no more there.
okay.
It is there based on the fact that our fathers who were born those days, they are trying their best to make sure that those culture remains. But most of the Western world are taking are taking much of our culture away and replacing it with theirs.
Well, like I said, I'm not trying to put a blame on the Western this or English
Yeah.
wares, because they really put a very huge development today to Africa. Now, for instance, see my dressing. This is in fact, this is an appearance of an African man, because even whites, the Western world, they are trying to imitate our culture, but by putting on sewing this kind of clothes. You know that they are known with suits and shirts and corporate attires, and this is called native attire.
Pardon me, this thing you are putting online wasn't made in Nigeria.
It is. No,
How?
no, definitely. I know that the machines and the thereabouts is not produced here, but we immediately it comes here. So we had to reform it back to our own way of dressing. Hausa has their own dressing, Yorubas has their own dressing, then Igbos has their own dressing too. So you see an Hausa man dressing and putting on their own cap, and Igbos always go with their red cap.
All right.
Yoruba goes with their own.
All right. So quickly, let's move on. Who decides what is decent? Who decides what is decent? What is the role of the parents? Is it the parents, the church, the school, social media, or you yourself? Who decide what is decent? In this setting now, would the parents comes to play a huge role in this? Because let's take from our teenage, from children at home growing up to become adults tomorrow. A parent is supposed to tell a child what you're wearing, what to wear. Because let me say, our parents has a grip on us right from when we are small to a certain age. Once you live there, you're your own. So I think that grooming from childhood, how you're being groomed from childhood, should be able to tell what is decent and what is not decent. So a parent has a huge role. Are the parents supposed to be the one who dictates what is decent, or the schools?
Well, definitely, this is a very important question. Who plays more role? Who decides? Generally, if I may ask, generally everybody has a better role to play because one, they said in sociology, I could remember that socialization starts from the family before it gets to the school and the peer groups and the environment, every other place. So, one, parents is the number one to play because the mistake of our parents yesterday, that is what is affecting us today. If you could remember that, or okay, that the mistake, the in fact the this indecent dressing we are talking about today, we are discussing today, the mistake of our parents yesterday, and the same people that maybe probably let me just put it this way, they were not put in a better position of correct them when they were doing those things, are people giving birth today. So what do they have to tell their kids? So parents have a better role to play in terms of deciding what, when your child is leaving the house. Imagine your child, I want to go and see my friend, and your child is putting on tight and a polo that doesn't have even that, she's not even putting on bra. What kind of friend? You don't even know the friend. Now they are going for party. Your child is putting on something that is not looking good. Putting on something that, okay, you just allowed your child to leave. She's going to school and she puts whenever she's coming back from school, she will not put on her uniform. She puts a mufti, something that is not even looking good. You will not even correct your child, you will allow her to go like that. So at the end of the day, you want, okay, school also have their own role to play. Like I said earlier, that during those days in school, you know that ladies are asked to put their skirts shouldn't go below their knee. It should be from their knee or maybe down. That is where they are putting the correction. And you see, sometimes when you are sitting, even at home, your mom will tell you as a lady, sit, close your leg. Those are, you use it as a kind of what's it called? We use it as a kind of play. Say, close the Bible. You say everybody. Once mommy comes inside and say, "Oh yeah, close the Bible," bam, everybody will do their leg, bam. That is this. So women or parents have a better role to play in terms of decency. Then school also have their own too. Then society at large also has a better role to play. So that is why ndị Igbo ji say, they said Igbo, they sorry to use Igbo here. They said Obu ofu onye na-azụ ụmụ
Yeah.
na-azụ nwa. So ọha na-azụ nwa. So when it comes to training of a child, it's not only the parents, the society help out. So when an adult is disciplining your child, you don't have to attack the adult because you are not the only one that can see everything about your child.
Because if you come to the aspect of schools, there are a lot of schools now in present times that when you see their uniforms, you'll be wondering
Sure.
what is going on. Children are meant to learn more. Let me say, from the home, yes, parents are meant to educate and groom their children on what is right and what is wrong. Then the school is actually meant to channel them in the right path, right? And teach them what things that will help them in future. Now, when you come to a school and the school dress code is putting on mini flared skirts and this what is it called? This knee socks, pop socks. That is their decent. And when a girl bends down, you're seeing
Everything will show.
everything behind.
Sure.
Then what exactly is the school teaching? What term is that school bringing into play? What are they teaching those students?
Well, the schools are lacking a lot because one is that they are not really teaching.
They are
like-
using this Western world. When you go to
Definitely.
Korea and China, most
Sure.
of their uniforms are like
You
that.
are there.
So they are bringing those kind
I
of a
could-
thing to Nigeria, where we are religious and cultural people in Nigeria.
Definitely, because that is the area they are going to. If I could remember those days in school, there is what we call moral instruction, which will happens on every Thursdays. I don't know
Yes,
if
yes,
you guys.
yes, yes.
So those days, those Thursdays, you see some club or some people will be invited to come and speak on morality, on there are some other things that shaping the students. Do you understand? Now, some of those things you see they always teach us and discipline us. Do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. This is how you dress, this is how you do. As a lady, this is how you do. So some of those things, I don't think those things happen again in our secondary schools.
Well, I just feel that one thing I hate so much in life is passing blames. I just feel we all should stand up and take responsibility for all our actions. Okay, it's fine. It's fine to say that we're in a Western world where people now do things for visibility, engagement, monetization, and the rest of them. Because if you open your phone now, go through any social media platform, you find people who are naked and they tell you that this is their after all is my life. I'm making money from it. It doesn't concern anybody. So when I said earlier that there's this evolution going on, cultural, even cultural revolution, that what our elders then used to see as, oh, this thing is not good. Now we are coming into a state of acceptance,
We are
embracing
embracing it,
anything,
accepting it all.
embracing whatever we see and whatever faces us. So I hate to blame, pass blame, do this with parents, school, and whatever. I think we should go back to that our sense of reasoning before, that this is good and this is bad. I think if we should start from there. That should be the background.
So if even if you are starting from there, who will tell them? Because I believe that culture passes from one generation to another.
Yeah, who
So
is now to tell?
that
Is
is
it the
the
parents doing it already
that
and
is
passing it to their child? Who
that
are you to blame?
that is the problem. That is the angle I'm going to. That the mistake of our parents yesterday is what is affecting us today, because they refuse to pass the information how they should be.
And that is why I actually said earlier that grooming of a child should start from when the child is still a baby. Do you
Definitely.
understand? Because when you let me say when you start grooming, I was watching there's this video I came across on TikTok. A boy of 3 years. If you see how caring and how godly this boy talks and speak, you will be wondering. There are children of 10 years. Even I myself, I don't even know most of those things that boy is saying. I'm not going to tell lies. But now, if you look at it carefully, it is exactly from the way the parents groomed him from day
Sure.
one.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And if they keep on with that hand, even if he leaves the house, it has already been imbibed into him that this is the way and this is the right way to go.
Now,
The parents taught him. The mother he was just talking, and I was watching. And it was really interesting
Yeah.
how to care, even for his eldest sister. He was a little boy, and if you listen to what this boy was saying, you know that this boy is a future gentleman in prospect.
sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So grooming a child should start from not even when they are adults. Like I say that once a child is 13, if you are not able to curb a child from childhood to the age of 13, there is nothing you can achieve from that child again.
That is why the Bible said, train up a child in the way he should go. When he grow old, he will not depart from it. Because when you refuse to tell that child what he or she is supposed to know at the childhood, when you get to an adult, I think you because even in the book Trilo say "Ana amake managadi."
Yeah.
So whatever an adult is doing that is wrong, because that means that they fail to correct that adult from the childhood. So another thing, internet, in fact, internet is another society that is affecting us generally, because now internet decide what we do, internet decide what you eat, internet decide how you sleep, internet, in fact,
Artificial
internet
intelligence.
decide for us today. If it's still really affecting us, because one, you see somebody, and then somebody will not cook.
You're gonna ask AI, what
No.
will I eat?
No.
Yeah, can you tell me what to eat this afternoon?
No, I'm telling you, internet is really doing causing. I don't know if I should say harm, but it's really doing good. But the other negative side of internet, on the aspect of decency, you see somebody will, okay, for instance, now somebody will start eating cucumber from morning till night. You ask, you didn't cook. Now I'm watching my weight. I watch on the internet, they said I should be eating cucumber. The internet will then tell you. You watch on internet, you see somebody putting on pants and with what's it called, canvas, and with white hosts, and they cross this thing and now tie something on it. Nah, why you're dressing like this? Well, I found it on internet and it's big. I like it.
And like you said earlier, I really appreciate Nigerian culture, or should I say Igbo culture, because we all of us, we are all shaped by our culture. And that is why as Nigerians we can differentiate between what is good and what is not good. Yeah. We already have that cultural upbringing. So like I said earlier, that it is difficult now because now we're having this 21st century parents who no longer see the need to imbibe those cultural values and morals to their children. Now they'll tell you that after all, the white people do it this way. Why shouldn't we do it that way? And this is where I query the Nigerian educational system. They are slowly scraping out history, scraping out these things that we need to teach our children. These days, don't even find it in schools. If I must be sincere, I went to school and most of the things I learned from my parents, I didn't hear them in school. Dress this way, be modest.
Nobody's going to tell
They,
you
they're,
that.
not, they're not saying those things anymore. And this is where I push some kind of responsibilities to the parents. Don't leave everything for the school because now the school is not even doing much.
So how about church?
The church, okay, fine. We can say church is another factor. It's another factor where you go and learn these things. But it's not,
They are not even the most churches
it's
are
not
not doing
enough.
it.
The moral, the main foundation of all these things, decency, moral, and everything, it comes from the home.
Exactly.
The home. If when you're building a foundation, this saying that if the foundation is not strong, the building is going to collapse. If the foundation of a child is not solid, the parents did not do their job as parents when the child was young. If you start from when the child is middle age or when the child is now a teenager to do that foundation, that's building, the child is going to collapse. Because when he or she goes out there, like, they are doing this thing. Well, let me follow them and do it.
Exactly.
What will happen? Nothing. But if you are as from that young age, this and this is not good. You're not meant to dress this way. Always, like I said earlier, my father told me when I was growing up, dress how you. When I was growing up, my mom don't allow me wear trousers. When I was growing up, she said because I have this kind of body, this that if I wear trousers, that everything will be. And at that point, I was asking myself, I was like, trousers and skirt, which one is even more better? If I wear skirt, it's the same
Same
thing.
thing.
So I prefer trousers that will cover my whole body.
Yeah.
But she said you must not wear trousers in my house. And I didn't until I left the house.
Yeah.
It's made me understand the fact that okay, if I want to go and buy something like I wear one shop now, how will someone outside there perceive me?
Man.
Do you understand? It has already been imbibed here. You don't try it.
Exactly.
In my house, there was a day, okay, I wanted to go and get something with my sister.
Yeah.
So it was night already. I just decided to wear something short and leave the house. My daddy was like, we'll cross. My daddy was like, come back. I came back. How
Yeah.
like this? So I'm old enough like this. So
Yeah.
I was like, I said, daddy, what is it? He said, where are you going? I said, I want to go and get some Nigerian dress like this. And I'm going to put on trousers. And then as long as my daddy is there, you don't have to head to cross that house with that thing you're wearing. Do you understand? It has already been there. It has been imbibed in my head that you don't try this. So if I'm passing it to my children, okay, this is exactly how I grew up, and that is the same knowledge I'll pass to my children. But now you see parents now, you give birth to a child today, you are doing tattoo on the child's body. You are teaching child what exactly are you training them to do? At the end of the day, people will be describing the word indecency. Indecency is exactly what we parents bring into our children.
Even you are even going far. Some kids, some parents are even plating, and kind of dreading their children's this in their kids' hair.
It has even gone beyond that.
I don't know.
It has gone beyond that. A lot of things. So let's not drag this. Let's just move on to the next one. This topic is actually a very long one. Now, morality and modesty. Can someone actually be morally decent but dress in a way considered indecent? Can someone be morally the person is decent? The person doesn't do anything bad, doesn't have any bad intention, but is dressed in a way that the society perceived as indecent?
Well, like I told you, when you are talking about morality, is what the society have already accepted. So why, if inside you feel you have nothing in mind, but you know that the society, the environment where you are, for instance, now I have not been to North, but I've been hearing that you dare not go close to women or thereabout in North. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, someone told me the same thing.
So I don't know if it's true.
Married woman.
It is
You
not
don't.
true.
Oh, a
And
friend of mine
you
was
see,
telling me
you see
you
some
don't look at a married woman, a woman who is married, that you
even
can't, because okay, there was something that we were saying, and the man told me that if it's in the northern states where he come from, like he's from Kano.
uh,
He said if he's from Kano State where he's from, that you cannot as a married
hold
woman
a woman.
look at your husband's friend, like your husband's best friend. If he comes into your house, you will not sit in that same room with them.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
cannot speak to
That's
you. You
true.
cannot speak to him.
That's true.
So
If
that
he's
is
greeting you, you answer him from the next room,
Exactly.
and you cannot shake hands with him. Not talk more of him looking into your eyes and talking, saying all these
Exactly.
things. That is their culture.
that is where I'm going to now, because what how we behave here, you might say, okay, let me travel to the northern part of Nigeria, and when you get there, everything will change, because you might take your culture here, because we are free. You talk to a lady and you toast a lady, you even hold a lady and even sit with a lady, but I think it's not like that over there.
Sorry to bring this in. Like when I went to Lagos, there is this thing that they said that a man, like a man cannot sit at the back of, on, like when you're sharing bike, like now
Yeah.
maybe you're stranded or something, you just hop on bike with anybody you see. That a man cannot sit on the back of a woman who is married. The Yoruba people, that was what someone told me. So even if you want to board a bike, and the man, once the man knows that this person is married, the man will sit in the middle as a lady, he will sit behind, but not here in Imo State. They say one yana wa gide woke.
But no, that is
Do
not
you
even in Imo
understand?
State. That's our culture. So let's not deviate, because what I'm trying to say is that talk more of Hausa women. I've seen Hausa women putting on one black something. Even to an extent that even their child, their back, the back,
It's
they
covered.
cover everything. I was like, the first day I saw that, I was like, what is happening? What is this woman carrying? Yeah, and they told me that that's the child. I said, so how is the child going to breathe? Say that's their culture. You can never see it. But here you cannot. If you try such thing, it just look like say this person is mad. It's not
Exactly.
normal.
Exactly. And for you, it's indecent.
Yes.
So to you, it's indecent.
Yeah.
But to them, that's their
That's their
culture.
culture.
So that is when we are talking about this, how you dress, but you have nothing in mind, and what you all should be coming to your mind is, how would the society see this? Is this really nice? It's not just for you, because you're not putting it up for yourself. So if you want to put it for yourself, you can put it and stay inside your room. If some people sleep naked inside their room, some people wear pants and sleep in their room. Nobody cares. It's their own business. But coming outside is not your business alone, because the society, everybody's looking at you. There are people looking at you, looking up to you. There are people that want to be like you. So, and how you dress passes a message to others. So you must be conscious of whatever you are doing, even in as much as you are not doing for any other person, it's for yourself. But how about others looking at you? What will be the message to pass others? The mothers and the parents outside there, how would they feel? They'll be like, nah, look at what this girl is. She really
Yeah.
coming from a home.
Yeah.
So
And yeah. You
so
say
go ahead.
something.
No, go ahead.
Okay, like I was saying before, just like the Bible, where we have a whole lot of rules, do's, and don'ts. That's also how society is. And one thing I always tell people is that when you get into a place, like when I came down to Imo State to school, although I'm from Anambra State, so when I came down to Imo State to school, I noticed that there are things I used to do, like going to church now. I'm talking about the religious aspect of it now. That going to church now in Lagos, I wear trousers to church. I don't tie scarf to church. So when I came down to Imo State to school, I noticed that it is the same here. You don't do it. If you do it in church, you not even enter inside the church. So I looked at it and I'm like, how am I going to cope here? But as time went on, I noticed that I was now blending.
Into their
I was
culture.
now blending. Slowly, I was blending. So this is one thing people find so difficult to do. That when you, like, they call it cultural shock, embracing on that culture as soon as you have seen it. So it's a very difficult thing, and it's something that we should respect, because you're not coming into a society and you're feeling like, oh no, I'm not going to do what they are doing. Of course, they will perceive you as an indecent person. You're a bad person. She doesn't dress well. In short, they will say that you're immoral. You have no moral. You lack morals and values. So embracing things like this we have to just try to follow up and
Wherever you
adapt.
find yourself, you embrace
Yes,
their
wherever you
culture.
find yourself, just try to blend, try to, even if you go outside, like outside country, you go, you see what the whites are doing, you will do what they are doing. And when you come back, you don't feel like, hey, I was doing it there, it's not the same.
You continue from your culture where you
From where you
stop.
stop.
That is why they always say that give Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Okay, all right, all right. So let me quickly ask this. We are actually running out of time. Is decency used as a tool to control women more than men? Because you tend to, like I asked before, if it was gender based, and you tend to see that this word indecency is mainly directed at women more than it is to men. So is it used as a tool to control women? You are indecent. Why must you dress like this? You're not like this. You're not like this.
Well, that's funny, but it's very important one because women are seen as the center of attraction because definitely they said how did they put it, if there is no woman there is no party no go sweet. When woman no dey party no go sweet. So and in any family where woman no dey na
There's
Oh, it goes sad.
you know understand. So even in classroom or anywhere in any group and there is no woman there, nothing go dey boring o. But if one woman dey there, man, alright.
She lights up the place.
So he lights up the place. So all eyes, you see all the whole young man will be putting a challenge just to. But what I'm trying to say is that women are center of attraction. You know,
And
one
men are
is,
not center of attraction.
they are to some people, but not like women. Looking at in terms of seduction, one, that is the aspect you are looking at now. That is why they always put women first because one, women can pretend not to see a man who exposes his or her body might not really feel that have that urge.
But men cannot pretend.
But it's not the same with men. Do you
No,
understand?
no,
No.
I'm not accepting this.
Wait, hold on. I'm still coming. I'm still coming. Wait, let me land. Okay, for instance now, a man can remove his shirt and sit here comfortably and women will be like sit comfortably with him without anything happen. But just a woman sitting here, in fact, without even removing the clothes, be wearing something that is man.
You are lost already.
There's problem.
The discussion there sef, the discussion no go align. This person will be reasoning something else, this person will be reasoning something else. So that is to say that women are meant to dress, even not just women, it's for the both, but
So you're
women
trying to say now this decency is a tool used to control women.
And self-control is just for women.
It's just for women. So men don't, the word decency does not align with
no,
men.
I never said it doesn't allow with men. I said men also have their own side.
Then why is the word
women are the
indecency mostly targeted at women?
men?
Why is it?
They are the center of attraction. Center of attraction, and they seduce.
You're really the man's word.
No, that's the truth. We are living in a man's world because everything a man does is justified.
No.
Everything men do are justified. So everything women do, there must be problem. There must be a reason why she is not supposed to do that. Okay, quickly, let's move on. Is the rise of Western fashion eroding Nigerians' value, or is it simply evolution? Is the rise of Western, like we're talking about now, the Western world bringing in their own fashion sense and everything, is it eroding Nigerian values, or is it simply evolution? The world is evolving.
Well, is
We'll call it evolution.
I may not really call it evolution though, but because Nigerian culture, like I said, the African culture is the best. We can't deny the fact it's the best because African trying to sharpen us in a way that even wherever you are, you present yourself, they see you, and even the Western even want to imitate us because when they come here, they see some of the things we do. You see some whites coming here, they're like, "Hi, I love your chieftaincy title. I love all this." They love some of these things we do here because they don't have it over there. Their life is just plain, but ours is unique with some unique
culture and
culture and
everything.
thereabout. So we have more of activities here than over there.
So you're saying that the Western, they are not eroding our culture away?
They are somehow because people accepted it. For instance now, let me just bring Christianity. The way Christians adopt or Christianity. For instance, sorry, the way Igbos, let me just put Igbos adopted it is not the same Hausa did. So for that reason, Hausas still maintain their culture and their way of life. Do you understand? But Igbos,
We are shifting a lot.
we've already deviated from our culture. We've shifted. So that is the where you are having a challenge. So whites, or the fact they are, is more affecting more of Igbos, not Hausas.
And
Let me put it that way.
for me, let me use the Ndi Igbo,
Mm.
because when you are talking about Igbo, you don't use Igbos.
Mm,
Ndi Igbo, let us represent. So I feel that we are slowly becoming irredeemable.
We are losing our
We are
culture.
losing it. Because it pains me that sometimes when I attend traditional marriages, they're not using Fanta in place of
Palm wine.
why is it so?
Not
Now-
even the palm wine aspect.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be used with this horn cup.
Exactly.
But now it's replaced with glass fancy cup and all this disposable cup.
Yeah.
The culture is no longer there. Even their dressing
Even the dressing.
is no longer there. It's no longer the way it used to be.
Exactly. And when I see these things, I'm like, oh, see this generation now that we teach the other generation. What exactly like what do we even have to teach the next generation? Because if we that are already like who met these things are not even following them, now we feel that everything should be westernized, everything should be anglicized. Like Anambra that used to be Omambala, now it's Anambra. Owerri that used to be spelled Owere is now spelled Erri. So we
I've not really heard of that.
yeah,
I'm
this is
surprised.
true. This is true. Okigwe, Oka Igwe. But they came and said to us, Okigwe, we accepted it. So many things
They
we accepted.
modernized everything.
And everything anglicized, everything colonized, everything we accepted. And now we don't have anything to teach. Even you're not even aware of this. You are shocked.
I'm not aware of it.
But you can imagine. So what do we have now to teach the next generation? Almost nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I know that what you are trying to make a point, because I know of Owerri as Owere.
Ere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with like those days as of the 1999 or 2000, my dad always tell us, "Get choka Owere weregi Owere eweregi Owere."
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's the right pronunciation, but now it's called Owerri. Even some people even twist it
It's
like
it's too
Owerri, Owerri, Owerri.
For me, I wouldn't say it's even a revolution because we are
It's
losing.
eroding it.
I'm telling
Eroding,
you,
Clearing it
I'm
out.
telling you,
Not-
wiping it out completely.
More especially our
You
side,
can imagine
our
someone
eastern
and people
part.
trying to you're doing your traditional marriage and you're bringing the Indian culture into dressing as an Indian on your traditional wedding day as an Igbo man.
Man,
And an Igbo man, what exactly are you portraying?
yeah, even there was a I saw it on Facebook. One traditional marriage, they dress like a Chinese, not Chinese, Japanese. You know,
Yes.
Japanese always put on that
You can imagine.
that cap and they did about. So they dress, that's their own dressing. That's how they dress on that.
Yeah.
People that are coming from Nigeria and Igbo, more especially because the name there is Igbo name. So it's it's really affecting us, but we must do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we can go back to these things, we'll revive our culture, we'll revive our morals. Because one of the things that is lacking in our society today is moral value.
Because
Where we cannot even differentiate from what is bad and what is good. Everything is acceptable. Everything is normal.
well, I guess history should come back. There is a more room where we should tell our children
Exactly.
this is how we do. Because I could remember those days. There is what we call Obako Maaka. We will tell like info and
tales and all
then-
that.
and tell you things that are not those things, those stories that try to shape the children, you shape them, keep them in a moral way of life.
Alright.
But they are no longer doing it again. So we need to bring it back.
Our time is fast spent. Thank you all for your contributions and
Yeah.
your discussion. It was a wonderful time in the studio. And to our viewers out there, please, you've heard our topic for today. Make sure to contribute. Drop your opinions.
Sure.
Was there an outfit you ever wore and someone actually tagged you in the set or something? Drop your comments on our comment section on Facebook. Follow us and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on at Decency TV on Instagram, and please share your opinion with us. Tell us what you think about this topic. What are your experiences? Have you experienced anything regarding to this? Please do share and follow and like us. Oh, thank you very much for watching, and God bless you. Bye.
Bye.